Hey guys, just a little video today. I was asked by Brad Wise, go on YouTube, what my compressor setup is for when I'm spraying, or just general setup. So yeah, I'll quick do an overview of that now. Awesome, so first up I've got the Clisby belt driven air compressor. It's 240 volts, 15 amp, and it's got a 3 horsepower motor and 17 CFM. Now if you're wondering, CFM is cubic feet per minute, and it's pretty much the rating that the compressors get, which pretty much tells how much air it can push out and still keep up. What you want is a nice, reasonably big size tank, belt driven air compressor. I haven't had a problem with this so far, and pretty much when I'm spraying my base coat, clear coats, that's usually around 50-60 psi, and the compressor manages to keep up nice and perfect. It even actually builds up the tank before I get through it all, which is something that you should look for when you're buying one. What would happen with my old tank is I'd be spraying and you're trying to keep that constant 50 psi. What happened was the compressor wasn't able to keep up with how much air I was pushing through, so I'd have to stop and wait, and you just wouldn't get that even spray, which is what you want. Alright, so I'll just show you guys quickly what I mean. So with the good CFM rating, what happens is, say you got about that much PSI, what is that, 150 in the tank, and say you've got about 50 on this dial here, which is where that's your pressure switch for whatever you're using. On a good tank, good compressor, your needle should really stay about close to max, if not going up more, just to refill it until it cuts off. On a bad one with a bad CFM rating, which means you can't push out much air, what will happen is you've got your 50 psi on this side, but say you're at 150, it'll slowly go down and down and down, and then when you reach about, I don't know, maybe like there, you feel like that'll actually start dropping as well. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a not as good CFM rating that it can't keep up, but you just got to be a lot more careful and cautious, that's all. As for water filters, I'm actually not running one, which is probably surprising to some people, but instead what I like to do is, under the tank you've got your drain plug. I like to leave that a little bit open, so it will push out a bit of air, but the compressor keeps up, no worries, and it just means that none of that moisture even gets to the hose in the first place. But if you're worried about that, what you can do is water filter just at the start of the line, and you can even get water filter at the end of your gun, at the start of your gun, and then a pressure switch as well if that's what you want. Right, next up I've got my Black Ridge high pressure siphon feed gun. It's got a 1 litre canister, 1.8 millimeter tip, and it uses minimum 100 litres per minute, but I've got no problem with that with the compressor that I'm using. And what I like about this, I'll try and show you close up. It's got your little locking lid for the canister, which is really handy because when you're spraying that, nothing's going to leak out and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much it's done the job fine. And yeah, as long as you clean it, that's another good tip. As soon as you buy a gun, what you want to do is remove your nozzle. It's done just by turning this here. Remove your end turny bit, whatever you want to call it, because that'll have a spring in there, and then you can remove your needle, your paint needle, spray gun needle, whatever you want to call it. Every gun that I bought new, the spray needle in there, which you can see, it always has oil on it because that's what they do, they lubricate it, just keep it all fresh and that. But what happens is that gets in your paint, so always what you do, pull that apart, just use some thinners, clean off with a brush, light brush, nothing too extreme, and make sure it's straight as well. And then yeah, all you have to do is just adjust how much pressure you want to use, your spray width and height, etc. And yeah, awesome. So yes, a little recap. When you're looking at getting a tank, I would get one with good CFM rating, anything really 15 and above. I would go for belt driven. Belt driven works really nice, and tank size 70 litres and up is really good, but you could probably work with a bit less depending on the size of the job and what kind of tools you're using. Spray guns, I would recommend a siphon feed one with a lid that you can close, just so you don't go spilling anything. Just make sure you clean them when you get them. water filters, you might as well use them, be on the safe side. And if you can't for some reason, or you want to be even more cautious, what I would do is, like I've done, just leave the drain valve a little bit open, and that does the job quite nicely. Yeah, so pretty much if you have a good CFM rating, you know that your compressor can pump out enough air for it to keep up with whatever you're doing and not let the pressure drop down, say if you're spraying and whatnot, which is the most important thing. So yeah, I hope this helps a few of you, especially you, Brad, and yeah, cheers for watching.